For those of you who own Alicepacks, and those of you who don't own Alicepacks, just to give you the anatomy of the Alicepacks, particularly the smaller ones, you have three major compartments on the outside. And in these three major compartments, when I'm packing up my bag, I end up packing up these three major compartments with my priorities, along with the bottom, strapping on the bottom, which is pretty much a rudimentary shelter. So what I'm going to go do is go through each of these three pieces of kit that I feel are a priority for me when I'm out there during a hike or during a weekend camping trip. Now the three things that I'm most concerned about is fire, shelter, the ability to boil water to cook food. This is nothing new to anybody. The last is first aid. If you're out there, you sprain an ankle or whatnot, you're not going to have to dig through all this stuff to try to get to it, especially if you're hurt and you're stressed out. So I always have a good sized first aid kit on the outside. The first one I'm going to go through is the fire making kit and / shelter making kit. I have the primary shelter here, which is the tarp. I forget the size of this. I want to say it's about 10 by 8, maybe a little larger than that. I have an emergency bivy bag, and then I have jute twine to help tie down with the shelter as well. And here though, I have probably what I feel one of the more important ones is the fire making kit. And recently I've been looking around for a good waterproof case, and I'll be doing a review on this later. And this is a pretty inexpensive waterproof case. It's actually for bait, for when you go out fishing, but it does have a seal around it. Pretty sturdy construction. And here you have the seal, the waterproof seal, reinforced top. And in this fire making kit, I have several different ways to start an immediate fire. In these cases right here, I have cotton ball swabs in Vaseline. And this container right here, I have charred cloth. I have the good old Bic lighter. Some additional jute twine. I put this in here to keep this dry, where this is pretty much laying on top, and this is more for shelter construction, but I want to keep this dry. And I have these in a previous video I did a couple months back, are these matches. These things last for about 5 to 7 minutes. Really great to get a fire started right away. And then I have the top of a candle as well. Inside the Altoids tin, I have a container that is holding pine resin for to extend the fire. When you're building the fire, you can sprinkle these on top, and when they're melting and it falls into the fire, it helps the fire to keep on going. I have the fire steel, and then in there I have the striker for the large matches. When you're packing your fire kit up, make sure that you keep the striker away from everything. No way do you want to have one of these things to go off inside the container. And last, but the Altoids tin so that to make more char cloth. So this is my primary fire starting kit, which gives me multiple ways to start a fire. It gives me a lot of options, and it stays stays waterproof in this case. I'm going to test this case. It's brand new, just to see how good it is. I don't perceive any problems with it, but it's got a pretty good seal to it, and relatively inexpensive. This costs probably about $7 at Dick's Sporting Goods. Now the middle compartment I have is kit that will, cooking kit, water purification kit, primarily for boiling. I have my bandana, mainly for wear, but also, as you guys know, you can use that for filtration. You can also use this to make more char cloth. And I have working gloves. I actually bring two types. I bring these fingered working gloves, and I also have fingerless working gloves as well. In this kit, this is a GSI outdoor kit. It has a plastic lid with the strainer, and in that I have some tin foil. I have some spices, another candle, another fire steel. I have some oil, an additional knife, an REI spork, titanium spork, really nice piece. I have additional cotton balls with in Vaseline, and I have, which this is a pretty interesting piece, which is the steel match, which I'll probably do a review on this a little later. Well, this is a pretty good lightweight cooking kit. You have a little bowl in here, a plastic bowl. I would prefer that the plastic bowl would be steel. I prefer everything to pretty much be steel, but hey, that's what they gave me. That's, that's all they offer. But other than that, it's a really, really good kit. You have a collapsible handle. The container that it's in isn't watertight, but you can use it to collect some water in a pinch. You can use it to collect other materials out there when you're out in the woods. So this is can be used as a secondary container as well. So that's what I have in the center pocket. Right, last but not least, I have my first aid kit. The first aid kits, I believe, are real personal pieces of kit, considering the environment that you're going in, what you feel comfortable with. In this kit, I'm not going to take it out to go through all the contents, but I have things where I can clean myself with, clean wounds with. I have things to help with bites, ace bandages, things like that, for sprains and just your regular cuts. All your pretty much basic stuff in there. Tweezers to get rid of any ticks or any other little critters that you'll come across. But when you're going through your first aid kit, it is a personal kit, and you need to take into consideration the environment that you're going to be in, little critters that you might be bumping into, things of that nature, even when it's seasonal. For me personally, my major concerns are cuts and sprains. Breaks, depending on how big the break is. I encourage people to go out and at least read up on first aid, if not take a class in first aid, in order to help you out when you're in the woods, not just to help yourself out, but also help other people out as well. So, but again, when you go through, again, I believe it's a pretty personal kit. Some people have smaller kits. I like to be as prepared as possible when I'm out there in the woods, especially alone. So, but the first aid kit, so we have the first aid kit, which is immediate for me to get. I have the cooking supplies, water purification, protection while going off and collecting firewood, and I have the fire starting kit along with shelter building, immediate shelter, and shelter building materials. So those are the three major priorities that I have on the outside of the backpack, so I don't have to go through and dig through everything else that I have in here. So if I'm out there, it starts to rain all of a sudden, I'm not prepared, I'm able to take the shelter out, set that up. Then I have a waterproof container with my fire starting equipment so I can get in. And I have tools in here which will allow me to start an immediate fire, which I can go through and then grab some grub, sit back and relax. And during the fire making process, if I do burn myself, I'm able to get in my first aid kit. So those are the three major pieces of kit that I have that I can get to immediately when I'm out on the field. So we'll go through the rest of the kit a little later. So this thing, I know it will float. I want to lay it down to see if it will collect water. Oh, see if it will take on water. Yeah. Any crawfish in here? So we'll time that right now. We'll give that 15 minutes. No bubbles coming out yet, so that's a good thing. Give it a few more minutes. Alright guys, it's been about 15 minutes and I haven't seen any air bubbles coming out of it, anything like that. And the cool thing is that you get it on a normal plane, it would be floating anyways. take this and let's see if we've got anything else in here. Yeah, it looks really, yeah, there's nothing in there at all. So everything's really still dry. It's pretty dry, or is dry. So it's for an inexpensive piece of kit for about $7 around there, and I got this at Dick's Sporting Goods. It's really not a bad piece of kit for you know, whatever fire equipment that you want to keep dry, maybe your cell phones, things like that. I don't know if I would trust this entirely with maybe some of my, like I was saying before, with like the cell phones and stuff, now that I'm thinking about it. The more expensive pieces have that double latch system where it really pulls down and locks everything in place to make sure that the moisture doesn't get in. That type of design also prevents it where if you drop it, where it's not going to pop right open. Where this one is just a simple latch. It's a good latch, holds on real well, but it's just a single hinge latch. So as far as having it in your backpack, if you're not, you know, going river rafting or anything like that, I think this is a really good buy. It's definitely going to keep your stuff dry.